It's a massive miss.
Makes it extremely tough.
They did it, and tonight was a monumental night for that football club and for the sport in this country.
It's Charlie Trafford off to celebrate in the snow. Cavalry are level. Moosey hangs it high. Herdman heads it over. Washevsky, an absolute goal!
The second leg, could they do it?
They have everything to play for in a week's time.
Fellow Canadian championship carrying up.
Pass it in the box. Ahead of Roberto Zapater. Just in time. Chance again. Can you believe a second loss for a brace?
Square pass for Josh Hurd has found the opening goal.
Cordova sends a clean run, and Osvaldo Leon has opened the scoring.
And Andre Raposa, it's a collector's item. And the Wanderers lead by 2 goals to 1.
The match's opening goal, Diogo Resurrecção.
Welcome to Monterrey, Mexico, World Cup host city and host stadium in 2026. Tonight, Monterrey, they cruise through the first leg. 2-0 final in Hamilton, Ontario last week. So that means no parking the bus for Forge FC tonight. They need at least 2 goals on this Tuesday night to have any chance of advancing to the next stage of the Concacaf Champions League. Welcome back inside our temporary home on One Soccer. I am Gareth Wheeler. He is Jordan Wilson. We made it through the first legs of this competition intact. Some drama, the way that things played out in a slippery night in Hamilton, followed up by an historic night, Cavalry defeating Pumas. Everything to play for on Thursday night. But before we get to that, we have a score to settle potentially tonight as Forge go on the road. Their third trip down to Mexico, down 2-0 on aggregate to Monterrey. The away goals rule does apply. The winner of this tie takes on the winner between Vancouver Whitecaps and Saprissa, the first leg to be played in Costa Rica on February 20th. There are 27 teams in 5 rounds in this competition. Let's hear from manager of Forge, Bobby Smaniotis, as well as the captain, Kyle Becker, ahead of this one tonight and what it means to play big games like the one that's at hand.
In 2019, when they first mentioned that teams in our league would be able to play in Concacaf, that's what you think of. You dream big. This is why you want to win trophies in the CPL each year, so they have the opportunities to come down here. And it's not just about playing in the venue, but it's about trying to do something very positive in this place. Great stadium, excellent pitch, and we've got a little bit of a battle ahead of us tomorrow, but it's something we're looking forward to.
Everything you want as a player to be playing in, and something that you don't want to take for granted. Obviously, you want to be appreciative of it, you want to be grateful for it, but there's still a task at hand, and we got a big ask for us tomorrow night. But it's 90 minutes of football, and anything can happen.
It's a little bit different. It's the things you dream of as a kid, but trying to block that out right now, focus on the game tomorrow, and then and then once we get the job done tomorrow, we can look back on it with fond memories and really appreciate what we've been able to do.
We know we're going to create because we're going to play football, and that's the evolution of who we are in this tournament. Keep on trying to bring our identity onto the pitch. I think we can do that even better, even though we're away from home. But when we have that opportunity tomorrow, it's got to go in the back of the net, and that'll change everything.
Quite the scene, quite the stage here tonight. Good to hear from Dan Nimick as well, who I thought was very strong in his Forge FC debut a week ago. Completely different challenge here tonight, Jordan. It was slippery and wet, -1, but it felt a lot colder last week in Hamilton. Tonight, it plays to Monterrey's favorable conditions, about 26 degrees Celsius. 38,000 people expected to be in attendance against a top Liga MX side. What's at hand? What are they going to experience here tonight?
This is an uphill battle. Like, we have to say that. You're going to go play Monterrey in Mexico in heat, when last week you just said it 6 days ago you're playing in -degree weather. It's going to be tough for Forge. They got to go out and dictate the tempo early and try to score. But you said 38,000 with that heat. Keep in mind, Monterrey last year in the Concacaf Champions Cup lost in the semifinals. Like, this is a top side. To go out there and try to play attacking football and try to get the best of them is going to take a lot from Forge, but they got to do that early.
Yeah, they need goals. They'll rue some missed chances in the first leg. It's very difficult, game number 1 of the season, to kind of really decipher what this Forge team is going to be all about. One thing that we do know is that the conditions kind of ruined the affair. Yeah. Players were slipping all over the place. Although Forge did look really good at times, what did we learn, if anything, last week?
We learned that Forge is going to play the Forge way. They had 53% possession. They would probably say in that match that they played their Forge way, kept the ball, went forward, but they just weren't clinical. They didn't finish. And then when you look on the counter, Monterrey did. Big moments, they stepped up, and the players that are quality for the Monterrey side did that. But you look here for Forge, these are those moments in that tie that are going to haunt them for years to come. Because these should be must-score chances. Through the legs of Brian Wright, even here, right? This is a glimmer, some solace to maybe stay in that tie. But like I said, Wheels, this is going to be a tough day to try to get things going for Forge.
It's the Brian Wright, really. It's 0-0. Can take a 1-goal lead. It would be well worth it. Then inevitably, the quality of Monterrey just continued to shine through as the game went on.
Yeah, you knew that was going to happen. It was inevitable that they were going to get a strike on goal and show that quality. And then these goals that they're scoring, the free kick here, just pick it out. Like, no keeper saving that, the way that they're striking the ball. So Forge, we know, our possession-based team, love to gather, love to play, love to be methodical. But in games like these, Wheels, you got to finish.
This is the 23rd time that a Canadian club side has gone down to play in Mexico. A Canadian team has only won once before. That was Toronto FC in 2018. Let's take a look at the Forge FC starting 11 tonight. The exact same 11 that we saw 6 days ago. Kalilat's the goalkeeper. Thought the back four played very well, especially the fullbacks getting forward. Hujabrapor was questionable as he signed literally the day before the game. He's right back in to play at the heart of central midfield. And all eyes will be on Brian Wright to see how he rebounds after wasting that golden opportunity to take a lead last week. Let's hear from Forge FC manager Bobby Smirniotis arriving at the stadium here tonight.
Big test ahead of you here in Monterrey. Just how much are you guys looking forward to it?
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit of a mountain to climb, but we know the game plan. We know what we need to do. We've been tested last week at home, and we think with the conditions today, we come out here, we play our football, and give our best foot forward.
You guys are down 2-0 in the aggregate. Just what does the team need to do to go home and get the result?
Yeah, just think of the result first and foremost. Don't think of the score, don't think of exactly what you need, but more about getting a result today. And then if you do that, you take it one goal at a time. We know it's a game of margins today, so we need to try and make sure we're the first team that puts up a goal on the scoreboard, and that changes the whole dynamic of the game.
And then what's just your overall message to the boys ahead of the game?
Yeah, enjoy and compete. This is a battle. We need to give everything out there. No, we're not just happy to be here. We want the result, so we got to go out there and battle from the first minute and play to that final whistle.
Thanks, Bobby.
Bobby in mid-season form, the mountain to climb, the mountain's outside. Just go and enjoy it. Love it. Let's talk about Rizart Rama because he's now started his second spell with Forge FC. He was part of the North Star Cup winning side in 2023. He looked really good in the game last week, playing at right back. He's still only 24 years old. It has some pedigree as well. Started his career with the Nottingham Forest youth side and just played last season in Albania.
Yeah, he did exceptional this match last week, just on the right side. The underlaps that he was creating, the confidence on the ball. You see him here. This is a wet surface, Wheels. Still picking out passes and making the right decisions. I thought for me, what he was exceptional at, obviously was his 1v1 defending, but was the way that he just kept attacking and going forward. He's going to have an exceptional year in the CPL because he's going to be tough to play against. He's going to have those left wingers on lock.
Physical, he will not be put off by anything that he will see out on the field tonight. I kind of feel like tonight and Forge's season and their prospects, I know it's a lot to put on the shoulders of one man, but Brian Wright should be that guy. Forge had a gaping hole, didn't really have a pronounced number 9 last season. They're relying on Brian Wright to bring goals. He scored 9 last season for York United, but just 2 the season before. What are you going to be watching out for when you're watching Brian Wright, try to rebound here tonight?
Same thing that he did, just has to finish. Like, it's one of those things, you make a big move, there's expectation, he was the Players' Player of the Year. People are going to be thinking, oh, can you do it again on the big stage? I truly believe that he can and he will, but he has to break that ice. If he can do it now, Wheels, in this match, and okay, say Forge are out of this tournament, but for 7 weeks, you know that you've broken your ice, you've gotten one in the bag, and then you're ready to go through the season. You just don't want a situation for Brian Wright where he's put in the right positions and he's not scoring and 5 games go by in the regular season. Tonight is a night to really get the time going.
I mean, the majority of those 9 goals were scored in the first 4 months of last season, so it's time for him to get right back on track. Let's talk the MVP of last season in the Canadian Premier League, Tristan Borges. Playing down the right-hand side, was predominantly used at least towards the left side of the field last season. What do you make of the way that Smiriotis is using Tristan Borges here?
Yeah, I know sometimes for me, he's a 10. I know he can play on the wing. But you always have to question matches like these or the matches that they played last week. Is that a risk-reward player like Tristan Borges? Should he be starting? Should he be used right away? Because I think when you look at the lineup and you look at a Javanport playing and a Becker, guys that maybe have legs, Tristan Borges is the guy to maybe do something nice in between the lines. But how many times do you get to do that in a game? Maybe today's a day for him with the heat on a grass pitch, a guy with a left foot that could be dangerous. But I think it's something to question when you look at the forward side.
I thought he looked better as the game went on last week.
He grew into it, for sure.
In Hamilton. All right, so tonight's opponents, I mean, they're a legitimate threat in this competition. I know you might look at the Clausura table right now in Liga MX. They're in 13th place, but they have 5 domestic titles, 3 domestic cup wins, 5 Concacaf Champions Cup wins, including back in 2021. They spent big money. Pizarro, Ocampos is on the side, Canales, it's a team of star players. And oh, by the way, they just signed Sergio Ramos last week. He will not be available part of the squad selection tonight for Martin Di Michelis. 4 changes from the side that played last week, and the strong get that much stronger. Canales is leading the way with goals for Monterrey in this season, playing down the right-hand side. He's played almost 400 games in La Liga, including Real Madrid before landing back in Mexico. Jesus Corona, Tecatito playing down the left-hand side. Had a fledgling career with Porto and Sevilla, then injuries kind of set him back. And Herman Bertarami up top, 7 goals on the season. He's a handful. He has 1 cap with Mexico, although he was born in Argentina. Sometimes the table can lie, because this, for me, is a top side across Liga MX.
You can't argue that. I couldn't argue that. It's a team that, look, last year they did it go into the semifinals. You would expect them to make a deep run in this tournament. And look at the names you just listed on that team, Wheels. So many players that can go and punish Forge. They just got to be their best today to really hang on and stay in it.
That's the one thing that's interesting for me, is how do they go about their business? Because, they're comfortable. They're 2 goals up in the tie, but they lost to Juarez on the weekend.
Yeah.
It's just, they almost need a statement result in order to set things right in terms of their league form right now.
I think, too, yeah, the stars that they put out and the strong team that they put out, they're saying they want to maybe get this done early. I mean, I'm hoping for Forge just in terms of the tie and also my bias in the CPL that they can score early. But you're looking at this lineup, they're going for it to go and really maybe score 2 goals in the first half.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for them tonight against Forge, who are playing just their second game of the 2025 campaign. Right now on onesoccer.ca, it's Canada under 17s in action. Qualifiers taking on Anguilla. The ball played down the right-hand side, and the ball crossed into... Oh, no! God, what was that? William Daniels buries it. Celebrates that finish as well. Did you celebrate that goal?
I don't know if you can, Wheels. If I'm him, I don't know if I can. Like, this is one of those you're just running back to your teammates. I don't think this is the... I don't think that's... Go on, Willie. I love the finish.
Big Willie Styles right there. Canada leading 3-0. You can watch right now on onesoccer.ca. We continue to count down to kickoff. It's leg 2, Monterrey with a 2-goal advantage on Forge. You should also mention the away goals rule applies. So Forge will at least need 2 and probably a little bit more tonight. Estadio BBVA. You're watching the Concacaf Champions Cup right here on One Soccer.
Save up to 33% on select Walmart brand products. She nods in approval and places the tuna in her cart. This lady loves her tuna. She questions the ominous voice above her. Oh.
This isn't your first time flying to show support for your team, but it is the first time you use the wrong kind of paint.
It says here you could try mayonnaise.
WestJet, where your story takes off.
They did it, and tonight was a monumental night for that football club and for the sport in this country. The second leg, could they do it?
They have everything to play for in a week's time.
From nutritious feed to 7 times omega, enjoy the goodness of Nature Egg Omega Plus eggs. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Everyone is bundled up and ready for some February football, Canadian style. The 2025 Concacaf Champions Cup is up and running as Mexican giants Monterrey travel to the Great White North to take on 4-time Canadian Premier League champions in Forge FC.
Obviously, the weather is the major story here in Hamilton. It snowed here on the weekend. Forge had to cancel their training session on Sunday because of that. On Monday, they then were forced indoors because of the conditions on the pitch. This pitch is rock hard. And as for Monterrey, they decided to host their last match day -1 training session at home, where it was over 30 degrees hotter than it was here in Hamilton yesterday. They only flew in yesterday, and they just got to the stadium for the very first time.
We've said everything. We've done all the work we needed to do. We've prepared. Now it's about execution. We know that. The most important thing, guys, is These are the games you enjoy. These are the games you go out there. Your will and desire to compete is important, but make sure we keep our heads, and what I mean by that, tactical thoughts all the time. Be aggressive. In the battle, and aggressive. This is our pitch. This is our advantage. We go out there, we play our football, and we play it smart. You do that, and we've got this game, guys.
Sends it back into midfield. Forge have kicked off, and this Concacaf Champions Cup campaign is underway. Kristen Borges. He sends Chouanier on the run. Right joining the box. Mabuli and trailer. Chouanier with the keeper. Here's Chouanier. Mabuli with a nice touch and leaves it. Razor Rama can't get underneath it. Loose in front of goal. Monterrey conceding a shot on target. No one in orange there to pounce.
Another case of the field causing havoc tonight.
That's exceptional from Alvarado. Arcs it over his defender. Now the shot. And the ice has been broken. Rayados have taken a 1-0 lead. It's the ever important away goal. Perhaps a pivotal moment in this tie. It's an absolute stunner. Even the Ford supporters must applaud. It's a thing of beauty from the substitute, Jordi Cortizo. Here's Chouanier. Contact in the box. No penalty from the referee. Waves it away twice. Borges 1v1 with his defender on his sweet left foot. Pulls the trigger and forces the toughest stop. From the Jean Rapport. A sitter on the doorstep.
Happy and proud with the performance. And just upset that they deserve more as players for today. And we've been around this game long enough. It's got this cruel way of punishing teams. Sometimes we're on the positive end of it. Today we're on the negative end of it. We've got a game in a week, and we've got to go play and get a result. That's the bottom line. We've put a performance in here today in difficult conditions, like for everyone, but the task still remains the same going into Mexico. We don't change our mentality.
Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson with you. The sights and sounds from leg one pretty much told the story. Slippery, cold, and a disappointing result in the end. We've seen Forge play in continental competition time and time again, and one thing holds true each and every time. No matter who their opponent is, no matter where they play, they try to go toe-to-toe. Maybe to be a detriment at times, Jordan Wilson. What do you think, or should Bobby Smirniotis alter those game plans considering the opponent here tonight, or is this just simply the Forge way?
It is the Forge way, and I don't think he should have altered this. I think it's in question of maybe what things should have been done in the first leg, but I can understand the game plan in the first leg and even tonight to go and score those goals. They were in the position to do that, but I think the glaring stat for me is Monterrey had 7 shots on target, 2 goals. Forge had 3. When you watch the match, even when you watch that sting there in the highlights, there are far more chances where they should have had a shot on target and potentially a goal. So I think tonight it's just more about the product and the fact that they have to take care of business in front of goal and really get those shots on target and put some away, Wheels, and early, so they have a shot at this tie.
There are changes to this team from last season, a number of important ones, and just looking at this formation with Chouanier and Mabuli and Borges and Becker, it seems like there's a lot of attacking players.
Yeah.
I mean, this has to be chalk it down to being a calculated risk here, considering the attacking players who they'll be facing tonight.
Yeah, I think Bobby Smirniotis, for me, is just going to live and die by the players that he trusts and the players that have done it for him. I will say, if you're looking at Forge holistically going into this season, 2025, there's some breakout names that will probably emerge. Like a Noah Jensen, I know is going to get his moment. They've signed a few midfielders as well. I've seen a bit of them. I think they're going to break out as well. But it's really for those players to state their claim and show that they're good enough to start, good enough to play. Even Hajabapur, for me, I know he's the heart of their midfield. But there's other players that can go and serve that role and just mix things up. I think they'll be there in the end, but I understand why Bobby Simeone for this game is playing the players that he trusts.
The pragmatic approach is one thing, but what we've learned over the years is staying with your identity means really good things for Forge over the long haul. So we'll see tonight, and we'll see ahead to the 2025 season how it all plays out with a new look Forge side. It's a very similar looking Cavalry side. An historic victory, the first Canadian Premier League side to beat a Liga MX side. It played out last week in Victoria. Now they're in Mexico City. They lead 2-1 in aggregate. Pumas, Cavalry, Thursday night, right here on One Soccer. Cavalry scored those 2 goals. I mean, Forge is just simply going to have to show some more pop and some more bite here tonight. Love to see the traveling supporters down in Monterrey, Mexico as well. This is the Concacaf Champions Cup. Yeah, we love it too. Right here on One Soccer.
Save up to 33% on select Walmart brand products. She nods in approval and places the tuna in her cart. This lady loves her tuna. She questions the ominous voice above her. Oh.
Degree 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree keeps working when others stop.
Absolute beauty from Tristan Borges.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
A guy like this, who relies on his truck for work, knows that his truck will take care of him, and he takes care of his truck. And WeatherTech has always been the ultimate protection. From floor liners, to no-drill mud flaps, to TechLiner for your truck bed, to bump step, to the handy under-seat storage system. And Cup Phone keeps phones secure in any cup holder. Order your ultimate protection today at weathertech.ca.
We got the appetizer of the 2025 Canadian Premier League campaign yesterday. The home openers were unveiled. I love a good appetizer.
Yeah.
I'm a big appy guy. Soup, salad, and the works. And this is just it. Like, pick your favorite day. Now you know when your team is kicking off your season in your own stadium across the Canadian Premier League. The full calendar is unveiled tomorrow. I know there's been some sneak peeks, some sleuths on Reddit already, but it's officially official tomorrow. Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson with you. It's like 2, Monterrey, Forge. Monterrey lead the tie 2-0 on aggregate. Tristan Borges out of this one came out and said, you know what, we've been playing in this competition long enough. We're in it for the result. Is that a realistic expectation tonight for Forge to go out and win the game?
I mean, they're going to play for that. Do I think it's going to happen? Not if they don't score early. I mean, you're playing Monterrey in Mexico, and you're down 2-0. If they don't score in the first 30 minutes, for me, this tie is over. I know you're going to play the game, Wheels, and you've been around watching this game. You're going to say it's never over till it's over. But it is if they don't get that first half goal.
Well, I think that's it, because at the very least, if you score first, you plant those seeds of doubt.
Yes.
Or at least start asking some questions.
Absolutely, and your team can rally behind that, right? And you can have a feel-good vibe. Whoever it might be that scores that goal, you build off of it, and you maybe go out and chase and get the second one. But they don't score first. If it's 0-0 at half or 1-0 to Monterrey, it's done.
I mean, are you coming out from minute number 1 and taking a swing, or do you want to just ease into the game? You're not in necessarily a rush?
I think they should do the exact same thing they did the first leg. I think they played well. They got their feet pretty quickly. 10 minutes in, they were playing good football, and then they had chances. The difference, you have to put them away and have to punish them. Because a team, when you miss those big chances you're supposed to score, and that team's like, no problem. We're going to take care of you down the long run.
Well, the good news tonight, they take on Monterrey, and not the surface, not the field as well. Very cool. This is Forge's 3rd trip down to Mexico, and they've got the trifecta. Tonight they will have played in every stadium that Mexico is going to be using for the 2026 World Cup.
Go on,
That's
Forge.
pretty cool, eh?
That is pretty cool.
There it is, Estadio BBVA, the second leg. Monterrey and Forge. Can Forge pull off a cavalry here? Is another historic night ahead for the Canadian Premier League?
Come on.
We're about to find out. It's Jenko and Jimmy on the call. Enjoy it.
This isn't your first time flying to show support for your team, but it is the first time you use the wrong kind of paint.
It says here you could try mayonnaise.
WestJet, where your story takes off.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by WestJet.
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? Who cares for what you've got if you're not having any fun? Are you having any laughs? Are you getting any loving? If other people do, why can't you have a little fun? And have a little fun.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by Volkswagen.
From nutritious feed to 7 times omega, enjoy the goodness of Nature Egg Omega Plus eggs. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
Concacaf Champions Cup on One Soccer is brought to you by Allstate.
Hamilton Forge's Concacaf Champions Cup quest continues in Mexico. We are live at Estadio BBVA, the Steel Giant El Gigante de Acero and Forge. With this match tonight, will have played in each of Mexico's 3 World Cup venues. There is no doubt they are up against it against Monterrey after conceding a pair in Hamilton and not being able to capitalize on a surprisingly high number of quality opportunities against Rayados in the first leg. They were undone by 2 exceptional goals. Oliver Torres, a flip, pirouette, setup and finish, and then an exquisite free kick goal from Jordi Cortivo in the second half to send Monterrey comfortably back home. And it's about where Monterrey's happiness ends at the minute, because they have been in a woeful start to the Clausura season, falling again at the weekend in their match against Necaxa. Well, it has not been the start and the run of form that this club has been hoping for, certainly. But alas, an opportunity to advance to the next round of our continental competition, where the winner of Vancouver Whitecaps and Saprissa will await. From a Forge perspective, well, there was a lot of positives to take away from their performance in the snow on a slip and slide of a football field, but the goals cost them dearly. So they head into this match knowing the math is quite simple, even when you factor in those dreadful away goals that Concacaf Champions Cup still employs. And what it means in essence is, well, they can't let Monterrey score to have any chance in this match. If they can score 2 and hold Rayados off the board, we would go to penalty kicks. The biggest problem, other than, well, the atmosphere, where about 38,000 tickets have been sold to this match, is Concacaf Champions Cup and how Monterrey has played in it, particularly offensively. The goals in Hamilton extended Monterrey's streak to 20 consecutive games where they found the back of the net. That is the longest active run in the competition, so Forge has to do something that the previous 20 clubs have been unable to do. Can only imagine what these Hamiltonians are feeling in the tunnel at the moment as they walk out onto one of the most incredible facilities and stadia in all of CONCACAF. For some, well, it's been there, done that. For others, like Dan Nimick, who had a match-high 86 touches in the first leg, he said it's a dream come true, but the trick is to try to park those feelings until the end of the match. This is a Monterrey side that is on short rest, and the manager has had to play a little chop and change with his 11 to try and strike that right balance. The Argentine gaffer will hope that he has done exactly that. Ladies and gentlemen, the CONCACAF anthem, and we'll be back with starting 11s and team news.